from the Ontario Public Library. And we are, as you all know, celebrating Poetry Month with books all this month, and we are continuing this because April is Poetry Month. Though this may be our last one because next week we are going to be celebrating Earth Day with a little Earth Week story. So let's get on to our last poetry book. Now, we've talked about poetry a number of times. One of the ways is through how poems make you feel, and we talked about rhyming. And this time I want to talk about some of maybe your favorite poetry books. If you guys know anything about poems besides, the Twinkle Twinkle Little Star poems that we've been talking about and the nursery rhymes, like Jack and Jill Went Up the Hill and all of those kinds of things. A lot of the books that you guys take out of the library, I know, are very silly and funny poetry books. And I'm going to throw some pictures of those up in the corners right now so that you can remember which ones those are. So a lot of those funny writers like Shel Silverstein and Jack Perlett came out, right, these really just funny poems, and they're silly and make us laugh. But I thought you guys might know some of those already, so I have decided to read a different book. This one's pretty new, the year before last year. Last year is all weird. And this one is called No More Poems. And it's written by Rhett and it's illustrated by Dan Santat. And you guys might recognize Dan Santat because you know that Miss Ann loves all of his illustrations. Those are some of my favorites, and we do them a lot. So the books he did the Santa Stakeout book, he's written the Dude book, and I will list him, if I haven't already, I will put a link to all of his books above. So this book is already, we know it's going to be pretty silly. So that is the book, and Rhett, this is actually one of the first books that he's ever written, and he actually is a songwriter. He has a band called the Old 97s, and this is one of his first books. A lot of songs are like poems. And so we have this man who wrote a lot of songs who wrote this book. You can see if you feel like these poems would sound like good songs. So we're going to do two poems by Rhett today. And Miss Ann is going to read them, but she's going to throw the illustrations up on the screen so that you can see them this time because the illustrations really, really go with the poems. Remember, these poems are silly, funny poems, and they're written kind of for slightly older kids. So what 4-year-olds find funny and silly sometimes it's not the same thing that 8-year-olds and 12-year-olds find funny and silly. So we're going to go with, keep that in mind while you're watching these poems today. So the first one that we're going to do is called My Secret Karate. So here's a close-up of the page you can see in full. And remember, poems are shorter, so this isn't as long as a long story. And be certain to look for the rhymes because this one has rhyming in it like the other poems that we've done in the past couple weeks. And it's again called My Secret Karate. And Miss Ann's going to throw the picture up on the side so you can see our friend doing his secret karate. You guys know what karate is too. It's like a form of martial arts, and you can see the guy up here right now. He's kind of doing some bending, looking like he might be defending himself against something. And where is he? You guys know. You can tell he's in a bathroom somewhere. So this is how it goes. There is a type of karate I specialize in. I invented it all on my own. No one has witnessed my secret karate. It is meant to be practiced alone. So let's just stop because Miss Ann is not going to go back and forwards all the time with this poem because it makes it be a little bit longer, but I want you guys to listen for the rhyming words, remember? So in this little stanza that we just did, there were rhyming at the ends of the second line and the fourth line. So the first line is, there's a type of karate I specialize in. I invented it all on my own. That's the second line. No one has witnessed my secret karate. It's meant to be practiced alone. So what do we have? That's the fourth line. So this second line ends in own, and the fourth line ends in alone. So you got own and own. So they both end in the same way. So they rhyme. Own and alone. All right, so I'm going to start again from the beginning. I'm not going to point it out every single time. I just want you guys to be aware and listening for it. So it's called again, My Secret Karate. There's a type of karate I specialize in. I invented it all on my own. No one has witnessed my secret karate. It's meant to be practiced alone. I stand on my left foot and raise my right leg, using muscles in my abs, thighs, and tush. And with just the toe of my special blue sneaker, I make the toilet flush. I toggle the lever or mash down the button or lean on the handle just so. That way my fingertip never gets yucky, thanks to the skills of my toe. Courtesy's something my mom always taught me, starting when I was a kid. So using the toe of my special blue sneaker, I lower the seat and the lid. My secret karate is practiced in private, in public bathroom stalls. I don't mean to brag, but my balance is awesome. I never touch the walls. I don't have a name for my potty karate. I might call it Taekwondo, or maybe I'll say I'm a 3rd degree black belt in the top secret art of Kung Fu. All right, you guys, it's a little bit of a gross poem if you think about going to the bathroom, but you know, a lot of times in a bathroom that's not at your house or in someone's house that you know, sometimes you're a little bit grossed out by that bathroom and you're like, I don't want to touch anything in here, especially now when we wash our hands all the time. We are more worried about germs than normal, so maybe you want to practice some, what did he call it? The one I liked the best was my potty karate. You could try it. I actually know a couple people that do this. So that was a very silly poem and a very silly picture that went with that very silly poem. And you noticed that we had a lot of rhyming, like we said own and alone, in tush and flush. They're more of a sight rhyme than a sounding rhyme, at least in the accent that we have here in New York, but they still rhyme a little bit. So then you have so and toe, and kid and lid, and stalls and walls, and do and poo. Okay, just one last gift for you guys that like to hear Miss Ann say funny things. So that was a pretty silly one. So we're going to do one more from this book. And remember, these books and all the books that Miss Ann has on poetry are available in the library. Make sure that you stop by and get your poetry book to celebrate Poetry Month sometime soon. Okay, so the next one that we're going to do is going to be the whole screen picture because it's a 2-page spread. But this one is called The Weirdos of the World Unite. It is still very silly. Here, I'm just showing you what it looks like here. It's still pretty silly, but not quite as gross as the Kung Fu poem, My Secret Karate. It's not quite as gross as My Secret Karate poem. Weirdos. So, again, this one is... So, this poem right here is not quite as silly as My Secret Karate, but it talks about sometimes how we might feel like we're weird or different from the other people around us. And I think the idea of this poem is to be silly, but also to remind you that maybe everyone might be a little bit weird. So the name of this poem is called Weirdos of the World Unite. Remember, when Miss Ann reads this poem, there's still going to be rhyming in this poem too. So I want you guys to be listening for the words that rhyme with each other. Usually, again, they're in the second line and the fourth line. That's a lot of times how poems work. We could get into crazy talking about poem structure, but we're going to leave that for another day. But that's how the rhyming words usually are. You can kind of hear it in the rhythm. So I want you guys to be paying attention for that when we read this one. So again, this one is Weirdos of the World Unite. Weirdos of the world unite. Stand up and rejoice. Sing your happy weirdo song using your big kid voice. I'm a total weirdo. I like doing math. I like reading mysteries. Well, I'm in the bath. Sister, she's a weirdo. Wears different colored socks. Grandma, she's a weirdo. She has 7 cuckoo clocks. Daddy's such a weirdo that he likes black licorice. Mommy's such a weirdo. She's not even ticklish. My doctor, she's a weirdo. Always dressed up, all in white. My teacher is a weirdo. He plays saxophone at night. The guy who drives my school bus is particularly weird. The older kids say he has a bird's nest in his beard. My babysitter keeps a penny hidden in her shoe. Her boyfriend still reads comic books. They're both weirdos too. You know who else is weird? Is the librarian from school. I saw her do a backflip at the local pool. The mayor's unicycle, the crossing guard's kazoo, suggest they might both in fact be secret weirdos too. The mayor's unicycle, the crossing guard's kazoo, suggest that they might both in fact be secret weirdos too. I thought we were outnumbered. One thing's becoming clear though. Every single one of us, it turns out, is a weirdo. That's pretty cool. I like this poem too, because I like how it brings everybody together. There's always something about everybody that they think makes them weird, but it also is something that kind of makes them special and cool. Don't you kind of want to know someone who has a unicycle? Wouldn't you want to know a librarian that can do a backflip into the pool? Or who reads in the bathtub? Do not do that with library books. I'm going to say I draw the line there. You don't want to take that kind of risk. But you know, other books, your own books, you can read those in the bathtub. Or someone that wears different colored socks. There's always something cool, I think, about everybody. And I think it's sort of fun to say that it might make them weird, but I think these are the things that make these people fun and cool. So I hope that you guys know a lot of weirdos in your life, and I hope that you get to enjoy the rest of this week and that you come stop by, grab some poetry books from Miss Ann. This one in particular, we will have that one be out and you can come and grab it anytime. Well, first come, first serve, because they only have one copy of it, but you can also go online and put a hold on it. Some of the other libraries have it too if Miss Ann's copy is missing, as you guys already all know. Anyway, like I said, have a great week. We will see you back next week for Earth Day things. So talk to you later, guys. Bye now.